citizens of the United Colonies to the best of your abilities, and to uphold the values of the Vanguard, honor, loyalty, self-reliance in all your actions as members of the United Colonies Navy?
I do.
Then I'm proud to welcome you to the Vanguard. Now, you all have your assignments. Get out there and show them what the UC's made of. Supra et Ultra. If you're looking to earn yourself a place in the UC, Commander Tuala can get you squared away.
Okay, I'm gonna take a 15-minute break. Honestly, I need to get something to drink. So I will definitely be back, and we will continue this. Alright, I will be back in probably about 10-15 minutes. Maybe even earlier, honestly, just getting something to drink.
Mic off. Mic on.
All right. Sorry it took a little bit longer. I had to brew some tea. I didn't have any other drink. Was responding to a message earlier too. All right. We can get back into this. Oi. Excuse me. What were we? We're still at the thingamabobber. Oh yeah, we're at Mass.
Welcome to Mast. If you have an appointment, you may proceed inside.
I don't, but okay.
Only those on official United Colonies business can access the building.
What is it you do here? What is this place? I'm looking for work. Know of anyone who needs a hand?
I'm one of Mast's resource officers. It's my job to ensure those here on official business get where they're going promptly, and that any rule breaking is dealt with swiftly.
I mean, I kind of figured that with the gear that you have on. You look like you're outfitted for war. What is this place?
This is Mast, the beating heart of the United Colonies. Every decision made in the civilized galaxy takes place inside these walls.
Every civilized? Okay, totally. I believe you. I'm looking for work. Know anyone who needs a hand?
The Vanguard should be able to provide you with work going forward.
Hey, you're very, not communicative.
Enjoy your time in New Atlantis.
Okay. Thank you. Adventure awaits you in the UC Vanguard. Commander John.
What do we got here? Another applicant to the UC Vanguard? Interested in doing some good for the people of the United Colonies, all while earning your citizenship and credits to boot?
Sounds interesting. Tell me more. I think you have me confused with someone else. What's the Vanguard? Why would I want to become a UNC citizen? Or UC, not UC, UNC. What's the Vanguard?
We're the United Colonies Volunteer Fleet. Any captain can join, regardless of origin. Get to fly your own ship and earn credits as you help the people in the most distant reaches of the United Colonies, all while earning your way to UC citizenship. Put in the time, and citizenship is guaranteed.
Why would I want to become a UC citizen?
Well, other than becoming a member of the greatest faction in the galaxy, you'd get access to discounted services on any UC world.
Very high on yourself.
Credits to help you get on your feet. You'd even be able to buy property right here in New Atlantis. Citizenship unlocks it all, and signing up for the Vanguard is the fastest way to earn it.
I think you had me confused with someone else. Sounds interesting. Tell me more.
Glad to hear it. Signing up's simple. All you've got to do is pass a flight exam and make it through one probationary mission, and you're in. We'll have you working your way to UC citizenship in no time.
Okay, I'm game. Just tell me what I need to do next. Not interested. And what exactly is a Vanguard again? What sort of work would I be doing if I enlisted? Mind explain to me what I get from becoming a citizen again? So, I kind of don't understand. Is the Vanguard like just like the military force, or are they like they're just actually like UC military, like, or UC Navy? Because like those guys on the outside had like their uniform said UC Navy on it.
Everything all right?
Yeah, it's excellent. So like does the UC Navy is the UC Navy different from the UC Vanguard? I'm not entirely like sure if they're not the same thing, because he's making it sound like the Vanguard's like a voluntary force, like kind of like reservists type thing, and that's why I'm using my own equipment. Whereas like being UNC Navy is different. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at this too hard. What sort of work be doing if I enlisted?
Vanguard work is as needed. When we've got jobs, we'll make them available to you. But the work itself, well, it runs the gamut. Sometimes you might be hunting down hostile ships on behalf of the UC Navy, or you might be called up to help the Science Division clean up some invasive species. Hell, we've even been asked to help take on the occasional terramorph. And sometimes we just need cargo support. Not every job's glamorous. The Vanguard only gets called in for the ones where there's a chance of seeing action. Wherever the UC needs us, the Vanguard is there.
Cool. I don't know if I want to join because I don't know whether this is like something I can't back out of. Okay, I'm game. Just tell me what I need to do next.
Well, all right. Take the elevator down to the Vanguard Orientation Hall. You can get started at any of the registration terminals. The system will walk you through the rest. And if you've got any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Lord, I don't know if I should join the Vanguard because there might be like stuff later where it's like, oh, you can't join the Vanguard anymore because you've joined blah. Yeah, whatever. I'll join the Vanguard, and I guess on another playthrough I can join another organization. I would just hate to join something and net station lobby. That's where I'm at. That one, and then we'll work our way up from there. Authorized personnel only, UNC Central Command. Watch me just walk in here and nobody care.
Yes? What?
Nobody's
Okay.
explained what mast
Hello.
is, I don't believe, so far. Can't put that stuff in the garbage. Your bathrooms are just open? There's no, like, doors? Weren't there doors on, like, the bathroom stalls in, like, the weird outposts? There's no stall doors here? No privacy in the mast facility? Commander of System Defense, Lieutenant System Defense. Just walking into the commander's office, nobody saying anything to me. Don't worry. I swear I'm not going to sell trade secrets. What does that say? Your care works wonders. Give quality to support your local United Colonies branch. Together we are the United Colonies. Your contributions to tourism makes us what? Okay. Hey, little guy. Fleet colony.
You know, sometimes I feel a bit guilty, sitting behind a desk, deciding the fate of others. I served my time in the fleet, but were I a younger man, I'd be back out there now.
Yeah, I really don't know what the difference between the Vanguard and UNC Navy is.
The United Colonies cannot exist without a strong military to keep the peace. That's just the way things are. Civil discourse is the best way to advance human society. I'm just here in case it doesn't work. A necessary precaution.
You are so loud. You know that? You are a loud, lumbering mech. Sorry, you're not a mech. You're a robot, but...
The UC might have a few less problems if the Marines were deployed a little more often.
No doubt.
I recognize that some may find our security protocols unreasonable. I am unfazed by their concerns.
No doubt. That's why you have 2 grenades on your utility
The
belt.
safety of the citizens of New Atlantis is my only consideration.
Literally a police force that's very much more force than police. I can just walk into the president's office, no issues.
I'm afraid I don't have time to talk now, citizen. As always, we're fully committed to the ongoing success of the United Colonies.
Hey, the president's a
We're
woman.
doing all we can.
The future does look bright. I finally got a woman in office. How many centuries did that take? At least 2. I mean, there might have been beforehand, but we are here. Let's go up 1 level.
Yes?
All these like office workers like just standing around, not doing
Excuse me?
anything.
If you bump into the president, can you remind her that I'm still waiting for approval on the dispensary funding? Oh, I'm kidding. Don't actually do that.
I can. They'll let me in upstairs, actually, in fact. No security whatsoever.
Reliant Medical wouldn't be half the corporation it is without the funding we've provided over the decades.
What do you do here?
It is my pleasure to attempt to steer this lumbering bureaucracy towards doing something useful for its citizens, keeping them healthy. My background's in medicine, but I like to think I've graduated from helping one patient at a time to, well, all of them at once.
Do you like working for the UC?
I really do. No group has done more for humanity than the United Colonies, and it is gratifying to be a part of that. Keeping our citizens in good health is vital to our continued success.
Spoken like a true politician.
Stay healthy.
My brain, every time I see UC, wants to put an N and then an S, so I can just say UNSC. Just so used to that abbreviation. Or acronym or whatever. Coffee. Stealing coffee. Is it a real crime? Okay.
There are so many different groups across the settled systems, it's hard to keep up with all the work they're doing. We're on the cutting edge of technology here. It's an exciting place to be.
Just leaving weapons cases wide open. Especially when anybody can just walk in here. And I do mean anybody. I am a nobody, essentially.
Good to see you again. Quite the lab, huh? The UC spares no expense. Back in the lab. Quiet, safe, secure. Just how I like it.
What are your thoughts on New Atlantis? What is your field of study? You seem to be settling in.
It's home. It doesn't matter how long I've been away, that will never change. Now, this lab will take some getting used to. Sometimes I go looking for the bathroom and end up in the storage closet.
What? I mean, that might be a sign of age, friend. That might not have anything to do with the layout. What is your field of study?
The short answer is xenobiology, but I get that that's a pretty broad category. My specialty is alien flora, but as a lead, I managed pretty much every department on the station. Maybe now that I'm here, I'll go back to my roots, so to speak.
You seem to be settling in.
Yeah, it's nice being in a lab again, and the facilities here at MAST are the best in the galaxy. The only thing I don't have is my research slate. The thought of having to start over from scratch, well, I feel like Sisyphus pushing his boulder up the hill.
I know a very good song about that. What was on the data slate? How hard would it be to start over? Not right now. I can find your slate for you. What was on the data slate?
Xenobiological stuff on the flora we grew in the facility. We made regular jumps to MAST, so thankfully I don't need all of it, just my most recent notes.
How hard would it be to start over?
Have you ever lost a document because you forgot to save? It takes twice the mental energy to rewrite it. You remember the basic idea, but there's no inspiration behind it. You're trying to pick up a memory that you told yourself was safe to forget.
I do feel that real hard, honestly. Not right now. I can find your slate for you.
Oh, great. I'll give you the coordinates to the station. It orbits Voss in the Alpha Centauri system, so it won't be too far of a jump. Just be careful. I don't know if those zealots are still there. If they are, definitely do not engage.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Firearms just laying about, not being secured. And you're shooting this little plushie? How dare you? Or hitting it with a hammer? What the fuck? Yo, you really are, you get way too close. You're getting way too close. I've never had that problem with like most companions where they get so close that like they just push you. Vasco is all the time. Can't move. Him ramming into me. Intelligence network. Again, can just walk right in.
Howdy.
Nobody cares. Is that important? Is that important? Oh yeah, you're typing? Lol.
You are. I hope you're not here to report something. If you are, it means you've seen far too much.
What does that mean? What is it you do here?
No. My parents would never have been so presumptuous. Every agent who joins Aegis gets to choose a pseudonym, pending approval, of course. I chose this for myself when I signed on. I have, of course, since learned that I am not nearly as smart as I thought I was as a younger man. I suppose none of us are.
Very true. What is it you do here?
I'm the acting head of Aegis, the intelligence division here in MAST. I oversee all our active projects and agents in the field, and I'm afraid that's about as much detail as I can give you.
What can you tell me about Aegis?
All you really need to know is that we're here to serve, and we're the good guys. Our main priority is the safety and security of the citizens and assets of the United Colonies, wherever they may be. We keep an eye on, well, everything.
Even me going to the bathroom? How many agents do you have working for you?
That's a level of detail I can't get into. Don't worry. We've got plenty of good people working hard.
No doubt. So your spies, any agency that feels the need to point out they're the good guys usually aren't. I mean, not gonna say that's more true than it isn't, but...
That is a word that has been used, both for good and ill, to describe us at times.
Any agency, blah, 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 blah. Must be hard not being able to talk about much.
Well, you're certainly entitled to that opinion, and there are plenty of others who share it. We'll be looking out for you just the same. Keep your eyes open.
Okay. Hello.
Hello. I wasn't talking to you, but hello. This is where they lock you in. Like, can you look at like how this room is designed? It's like designed to like mitigate sound. And so like this you're not going to be able to hear this person once they close these doors. Oh, that's right. Excuse me. Cabinet chambers. I can go all the way up to the cabinet chambers and nobody cares. Go up here, literally place a bomb underneath the table. Like, not a single person cares. Bring a giant robot up here. Again, nobody cares. Oops. Ooh, I am very high up. I imagine if I jumped from here, it would definitely destroy me. I wish I had like a binoculars. Where? I really can't tell from here. Points of interest. Like there's a facility over there, there's that. It's a decent amount of points of interest, I guess. If those are actually places I can go. I don't know. Hey, what's up? Totally didn't place a bomb underneath the counselor's chair or anything like that. You don't have to worry. Vanguard orientation. Taking the elevator all the way down. Applicant name Eve. Current bounty 0. To register for your examination, please select enlistment agreement. Note, any outstanding UC bounty must be paid before proceeding. Enlistment agreement. By joining the United Colonies Vanguard, you agree to perform necessary services for the United Colonies that could place you in serious danger, resulting in harm to your craft or yourself, up to and including death. In exchange, the United Colonies Vanguard agrees to compensate all captains accordingly to their experience level and the duty of the task requested. All applicants will be required to earn a satisfactory grade on a simulated combat flight. Successfully complete a probationary mission. Upon the completion of both prerequisites, the United Colonies Vanguard agrees to sponsor your citizenship application and guarantees the granting of United Colonies citizenship once sufficient time or acts of valor have warranted it. Do you agree to the above commitment and wish to initiate your journey with the United Colonies Vanguard? I, Eve, agree. Consent documented. You may proceed to the examination chamber through the orientation hall. Main menu. Welcome, Eve. Proceed through the orientation hall to the examination chamber.
Registration accepted.
Absolutely.
You may now proceed through the historical displays in the orientation hall, or continue on to the examination.
Sorry, I'm just trying to see something, because sometimes games will like have like a little paint over an object, and not actually like paint the object. It kind of looks like they painted the object rather than painting over it, but they could have gotten really close to the wall. But just checking, just making sure. The end of Earth. Wow, that's a great thing to begin this journey with.
In 2150, humanity learned the Earth's magnetosphere would collapse sometime in the next half-century, eliminating all life on the planet. Decisive action was required, but the secure transport of an entire civilization would demand a new kind of cooperation, a new kind of courage, and a new kind of union. Thus, in 2159, the United Colonies were formed to make that journey possible. Just 1 year later, the Galileo, the first of many colony ships, touched down here on Jemison, beginning a new era of human history, the age of the United Colonies.
The city doesn't look anything like that, though. Interesting. So the magnetosphere was collapsing. I mean, there's nothing that like us as a space race could do about that. We were just like, yeah, whatever, we can't do anything. We can go to different distant stars, but there was nothing we could do about the magnetosphere and like maybe stop the change. Seems weird. Seems lazy. New factions arise.
From their foundation, the United Colonies strove to provide all their citizens with opportunity, security, and peace. But there were those among the UC that still wanted something more. Independence. So in 2161, the UC issued the Centaurus Proclamation, granting UC citizens the right to settle distant worlds and form their own sovereign powers. It wasn't long before the first new faction, the Free Star Collective, was formally organized in 2188, later followed by House Varun, revealing themselves to the universe in 2230.
So 2 other factions spawned out. House Varun's the one with the serpent, right? They're like the believers of certain serpent gods or some silliness. They kind of look like what are they called?
It was only in 2230 that the faction known as House Varun first made contact with the rest of the settled systems. Founded by the passengers of a colony ship that had left New Atlantis and disappeared 4 decades earlier, House Varun was a faction unlike any other. A theocracy dedicated wholly to the beliefs of its isolationist founder, Jinan Varun. House Varun initially made overtures of peace towards the rest of the settled systems. They claimed their only intention was to spread the word of their god, the Great Serpent. But none could have guessed that this worship might take the form of a bloody war, the Serpent's Crusade.
What? Religion led a crusade? A religious faction led a crusade? And their religious figure is a serpent? And nobody thought that there was going to be issue with that? How crazy.
The Freestar Collective was initially founded in 2188, when the citizens of Aquila banded together with the pleasure city of Neon in mutual defense. But in 2194, after the deployment of a UC medical star station in orbit around their world, the citizens of Narion also requested to join the collective. The resulting rise in tensions between the Freestar Collective and UC culminated in the settled system's first intergalactic conflict, the Nerion War. Despite a decisive victory by the UC, the colonies permitted the citizens of Nerion to join the Collective, forming the basis for the fiercely independent union that persists to this day.
I like how the UC is kind of like, oh yeah, you can totally like go off and establish your own colonies and your own governments and stuff like that and whatnot. But then like they're consistently interfering to the point that like they go to war, and it's like, well, maybe you really just didn't actually want these people to leave your grasp of control. I don't know, maybe I'm misrepresenting or understanding that situation, but it seems like they're like, oh yeah, you can go and, you know, live your life and you know, pursuit of happiness and stuff. And then as soon as that they go and do that, they're like, whoa, 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 you can't do that without us. Duh. And then they're like, oh well, let's but we want to, and so they fight back, and you're like, what? I think these two conflicts were super avoidable, or at least, especially like this one seems super avoidable, whereas this one seems like you should have known that this was going to lead to disaster. Here we go, the Serpent's Crusade.
In 2240, House Varun forces declared all-out war on the rest of human civilization, initiating the Serpent's Crusade. Over the next 23 years, thousands of Freestar, UC, and independent souls were killed by agents of House Varun in the name of their serpent god. It was only with the death of their founder in 2263 and the succession of his heir Jarek that House Varun finally sued for peace. There remains, however, select members of House Varun who refuse to recognize the cessation of hostilities their leaders established. Even after House Varun's mysterious disappearance, these zealots remain a threat to all who encounter them. Their pacification, a goal of all space.
I mean, none of that surprises me, honestly. Sounds legit. Sounds like what I would expect.
Of the many conflicts between the galaxy's factions, none was more brutal than the recent colony war between the UC and the Freestar Collective. Set off by the unauthorized Freestar colonization of Vesta's Pride in 2308, a direct violation of the Nerion Treaty, the colony war spread quickly across the galaxy. Both sides deployed every tool at their disposal. Armadas of warships, mechanized combat platforms, or mechs, even bioengineered alien creatures, the infamous UC xenoweapons. It was only in 2311 at the Battle of Cheyenne that the scales finally tipped. The Freestar Collective, utilizing their civilian fleet as a human shield, successfully crippled the superior United Colonies Navy. After their shocking victory against the galaxy's greatest navy, the Freestar Collective offered terms of peace, which the colonies, out of an interest in staving off any further human costs, accepted.
I mean, they lost.
The galaxy has been rebuilding ever since.
They lost the battle, right? And they lost the battle in like kind of in a very humiliating way, because like a bunch of civilian ships is the reason why like they lost the battle. Like even they saying like, oh yeah, they were superior. The UC had the superior navy, and like they lost the battle over some civilian ships, even though you had the superior navy. Like that's really like morale like hitting, like low morale hitting, like honestly. And then the Freestar comes and comes to the table and says, let's sue for peace, it's like they have the upper hand here. They like embarrass the hell out of your navy, and then and kind of showing that like they don't have to have like these fancy ships in order to like, you know, gain a foothold against you. And so of course you sued for peace. You're like, I don't really, what are we fighting about, honestly? It's kind of silly what we're fighting about.
Few settled worlds were left untouched by the colony war. But nowhere could the viciousness of modern warfare be seen more clearly than on the Freestar planet of Nira. Initially occupied by invading United Colonies forces as a forward operating position, repeated attempts to take and retake the planet by collective forces led only to devastation. Swaths of the world were transformed into scorched husks, a nightmarish testament to the depths of human ingenuity and human cruelty.
Ingenuity?
And today, Nira remains a continuing reminder to the horrors of unfettered war.
Yeah, again, doesn't surprise me in the least bit. Ingenuity. Is that one of the mechs? It's pretty cool looking. Kind of looks like you, Vasco. Just, it had a pilot. Like even the hands kind of look exactly the same. Interesting.
In the midst of the colony war, a different kind of tragedy struck the UC city of Londinian.
Londinian?
A newly constructed but critical supply center for the United Colonies' war effort, Londinian found itself overrun by one of the galaxy's most mysterious predators, the Terramorph. A rare but pervasive threat to all human-settled worlds, Terramorphs swept over the city, seemingly out of nowhere, on a scale never before seen in recorded history. Valiant efforts by the UC military slowed the onslaught, but the creatures proved unstoppable. Ultimately, the decision was made to destroy the Londinian spaceport, sealing off the city, the outbreak, and its citizenry from the galaxy at large. The tragedy of Londinian is mourned by the UC to this day.
So, did the UC create them, like, or were these already things? I'm kind of unclear on that. Maybe they found. I think they said that they just found them, right? Okay, I think that's what I remember. They just said that they found them, and then they transported them to that planet. But yeah, anytime you have to put the word terror or morph in like naming a creature, you know that this thing's gonna be like evil.
Know it was some UC general that condemned Londinian? Gave it over to these things.
No one knows
One
how
of
they
these
move
murals
between
said he was
planets.
executed after the
I
war.
wonder if they can grab Joe
Might
or
have gotten
something.
off too lightly.
By the way, I think it's super cool the way that they're like kind of telling their like history through like a little museum in the world. That's absolutely cool. Like, I like when you like you implement like your lore into your, like the way you implement your lore into the game, not just like through a codex or something like that, but like this is super interesting how I'm getting the lore is like going through a museum, right? Because I mean, like in real life, that's how I get lore and stuff about like, you know, real world shit, right? I like go to a museum or watch a documentary or something like that. This is pretty cool. I like this.
After the devastation wrought by the colony war, the UC and the Freestar Collective came together to ratify a treaty that became known as the Armistice. Both sides agreed to a vast reduction in standing forces, and that xeno-weapons and mech warfare would be outlawed. All related research was sealed away, accessible only in cases of dire emergency. But the Collective had another demand. That the active commanders of the UC military stand trial for their actions. The United Colonies, in the interest of peace and galactic security, agreed. In 2311, 3 United Colonies senior officers were found guilty. Commander Henry Durant, General Indira Rastogi, and Fleet Admiral Francois Sanon, known better as Ve Victus. All were sentenced to death for their actions, bringing the colony war to a close, and returning peace to the galaxy at long last.
I mean, again, from what I'm kind of getting interpretation from is that the Freestar Collective actually, like, kind of made a decisive victory against the UC Navy or UC military, and ended up, like, then wanting to sue for peace after it, and they kind of, like, the UC kind of just jumped at the chance, so. I already read that thing already. The Freestar Collective literally looks like cowboys. But yeah, it just feels like that, right? It feels like they kind of just jumped at the chance to sue for peace because they just lost a major, like, battle, and lost it, like, in a humiliating way too. So interesting how, like, that's the way that they're kind of going about that. And then, like, they kind of just, like, I mean, I don't know, because I don't know very much about this game, but they kind of, like, just, like, went like, oh yeah, you 3 we're gonna sentence you to death because we don't want to be at continuous war. Vanguard is born.
It was into this new world that the Vanguard was born. An official branch of the UC Navy, the Vanguard is the United Colonies Volunteer Fleet, serving a myriad of security, logistical, and reconnaissance roles. And after a sufficient length of service, UC citizenship is guaranteed to every Vanguard member. Open to all captains, regardless of origin, the Vanguard is leading the charge to protect and support the citizens of the United Colonies, wherever in the galaxy they may be.
See, they keep saying the Vanguard's a voluntary force. Is their normal military not voluntary? Like, do they have mandatory service if you're a citizen? Like, you were a citizen born in the colony, you have mandatory service? Because, like, I don't really understand why they keep saying it's a voluntary service, as if, like, that different makes them different